Everybody. Thank you for joining us on the call today. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, these calls that I do, I typically try to highlight a TWC certified trainer and just kind of have them discuss to you guys how they became dog trainers and then how they were able to become successful dog trainers and how TWC was able to help them in that. So, what we're going to do today is we're going to talk to Allie. Carli Young. She is a TWC certified trainer in California. She runs Sentire Canine, and we'll get into her whole story in a second. But let me just go ahead and for anybody who's brand new to TWC or the general calls that we have, let me just real quick run through a little information about TWC. So, welcome to Training Without Conflict Zoom call, the next evolution of dog training. So, the story behind Training Without Conflict. In 2020, we held the first TWC certification program in Plant City, Florida. In that class, there were about 27 to 30 people. I can't remember the exact number. Since then, we have had over 450 students enrolled in the TWC certification program as either professionals or practitioners. Currently, there's over 120 TWC certified trainers worldwide. So out of the professionals who enrolled and practitioners out of those 450, 120 of them have completed the course and become TWC certified trainers as professionals in their business. We're currently enrolling for our 22nd class of the TWC certification program. So for anybody who's interested, we have really gotten to a point where we've honed it down to like I don't want to say a perfect science because we're always trying to improve, but we've gotten it to a point where it's a really, really fun and successful and mind altering experience to take the TWC certification program. Currently, we have TWC certification students across 6 different continents. So that's pretty much every continent except for Antarctica. So if anybody knows anybody in Antarctica that wants to be a dog trainer, I can't imagine the industry is all that thriving there. But if anybody knows anybody, we can have a person in Antarctica and have all 7 continents. Currently, we have TWC certified trainers in 12 different countries, and that is always growing. So we are hoping to have TWC trainers in every country someday. But right now, we have them really much all over the world. And like I said, on all continents where there typically is a community of dog owners and dog trainers. So, what is TWC? Training Without Conflict is a community of dog trainers that utilize the concepts created by 2-time IGP world champion Ivan Balabanov. The TWC methodology is rooted in the science of animal learning and evolutionary psychology to create unbelievable training results. TWC trainers operate with the belief that dogs are our fellow creatures and not opportunistic animals transacting for rewards. This is very different from many other different types of dog training schools and dog training beliefs because a lot of people will say like, oh, we train our best friends and we do this and we do that. But most of the time you see people just transacting for rewards. You do this, I give you a reward. You do that, I give you a reward. You don't do that, I give you punishment or whatever it is. With TWC, dogs are our best friends. This is commonly stated, but rarely practiced. With TWC, this is the foundation. The way we communicate with dogs is not through, like I said, transacting for rewards, but we are actually able to communicate with dogs on a fellow creature level where we are communicating as friends and not just as a reward or food dispenser. With TWC, we prioritize play as the most powerful motivator in training. When all basic needs are met, all animals will choose play. That's something that Ivan has said many times in many videos and interviews that he's done, and it's something that is maintains to be one of the core things about training without conflict. So that's a little bit about TWC. Let me go ahead and introduce Allie, Carli Young. It's always interesting for me to say her last name because I talk to her so regularly and just call her Allie. But it's Allie Carli Young. She is like I said, a TWC certified trainer in California. She runs Centaur Canine, and she also is the community director of the Training Without Conflict certification program. So, Allie, I kind of said a little bit of an introduction about you. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, yeah, totally. So I mean, you and I met before Sentier K9 in what was that, 2019? So I guess I had just started. So yeah, I'm based in Central Valley of California. I originally started my business as a detection company. So I was subcontracting with another woman locally. And we were taking dogs into middle schools and high schools and doing contraband detection. So that's how it originally started. So the dog training that I had gotten into was all detection and a lot of capturing and shaping, just a very specific like type, style of training. And so that's when you and I met, when Mookie was just a puppy. And then just a really brief like rundown of like the timeline with my business. That was in 2018 when I started the business. And then 2020, COVID shut down schools, shut down all of the detection stuff. And I got an influx of pet dog, clients. And that just totally shifted my focus, right? Then all of a sudden, I became a teacher, not just teaching the dogs and just working independently with the dogs, but teaching people and how to communicate with their own dogs. So it's just a totally different level. So yeah, do you want me to jump right into like my journey? Because all of ours are very, very different with dog training.
No, I mean, we can kind of just make it a little bit of a discussion. Like, Allie kind of mentioned that her and I met prior to TWC. And for those of you who kind of know, I mean, I don't know how actually like famous or notable he is in the detection world. When I went, it was purely just to get some basic level understanding of what scent detection stuff was. But Allie and I met at I believe a puppy imprinting workshop
Yeah.
at Mike Suttle's place at Logan Haas Kennels. I think, I mean, as far as I can tell, he's a pretty, well-known guy in that world, and he definitely does a lot of scent detection and police dog training and breeding of Malinois and Dutch Shepherds, and also labs, I believe, and
Wow.
deer apparently also.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's a man of many skills.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ali and I met there, so that was like super interesting because we met there, and it wasn't like we met there and we're like the best of friends and we talked all the time. I like she just happened to be at the same workshop as me, and then I went back to New York City, and then she went back to California, and then I, through whatever miracles of the stars, ended up working for TWC. And then a few months after I started working here, Allie signed up for the TWC certification program. So that kind of is how her and I um, came to know each other prior to and then during TWC. But yeah, so Ali, now that kind of you discussed a little bit about kind of how your business started and all that stuff, can you kind of talk about like your journey on like how you made the decision to become a dog trainer, and once you made that decision, kind of the leap that you took to doing it professionally?
Yeah, so I'd taken a break from school, so I was in college. I went back to school. So I was in college in Southern California, and I was about to graduate. So finally, because that journey took me a while. So I was like in my last semester of college, and had a little bit of free time and found the National Disaster Search Dog Foundation. They're in Santa Paula, nonprofit. And it was just like word of mouth. Like someone mentioned, like search and rescue with dogs, and how this program would rescue dogs out of shelters and train them to be search and rescue dogs and then pair them with first responders. And so just their mission is like amazing. And so I went just with I have a little bit of free time. I'm going to volunteer, and started working there, and just like got into the world of dogs, like started helping the trainers, just like observing the trainers. And I was just canine care. So I was, potting dogs, and, you're the ones who are like walking dogs and exercising and spending most of the time and then helping the trainers. And I just saw like there was this whole other world of like, oh my God, people do this. Like this is so cool. And yeah, I should probably get my degree, and I graduated, and that was all great. But it was like this passion of like, this is what I want to do. And I hadn't felt that before. And I got my degree in biology. And so, I enjoy the science aspect of it, but I think that's part of why I love this so much, is because that's the core of what we do also. It's just really fascinating. And so, yeah, I got into the, training, or at least like observing, and just saw that there was a lot more to learn, and got out of Southern California, wanted to move back up north. And then that's when I started subcontracting for a woman here doing detection. And so, I went from like search and rescue and seeing what that detection looked like to then, okay, this is very, very different. It's still detection, but instead of finding people, after a disaster and training for that, you're finding like all sorts of contraband for minors. So still interesting, fascinating. And that's what led me to Mike Subtle, was that. And I got my puppy from him that weekend when we met there. But it just kind of like opened up all the doors, right? It's like, I feel like no one really gets into dog training on a clear path. Very few people are like, this is what I'm going to do. How do I like start? You just kind of like get into it, one avenue or another. And then you just start like digging deeper and deeper as you get more and more curious, and realize like it's such a big world. Like there's detection, but there's IGP and sport and agility and like pet dog training and behavioral stuff. And like, it's just never ending, which is why I love what we do, because it can never be boring, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm the same way. It's like I had number one, I never had a dog until I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know, 30, 32 or something. And all of a sudden, like my entire thing, like I wasn't like I want to be a professional dog trainer. I wasn't like anything. It was just like, oh, how do I hang out with my dog more
Yeah.
than other things? And then it was just like, oh, well, I'll learn how to train and whatever. And like, I already had a job where I could hang out with my dog most of the time because I was a DJ in New York City. So it wasn't like I had this like intense office job. It was just like between the hours of like 11 p.m. and 4 a.m., where my
Right.
dog was usually sleeping.
Yeah.
I was
You're at
off
work.
doing, yeah. But so I already had a job where I could pretty much do that anyway. And then through learning about training my dog, I agreed to help a friend with their dog. And through helping a friend with their dog, another friend was like, hey, can you do that with my dog? And then
Right.
through helping that one, it was like, okay, well, now I'm going to start charging people if they're going to keep asking me to do this stuff. And it just kind of, like you said, fell in. And then even something as simple as like getting a Malinois and doing IGP for me, it literally was like started because it's just like, oh, you just watch a YouTube video and you're like, what the heck is that?
Yeah.
Like, how are they? Like, my dog, I just taught my pit bull how to do place. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, like this German guy is asked, like his dog is stopping on a dime and whatever, like, so it just you can fall down rabbit holes really easily in dog training. And the cool thing is there's a lot of support, and thankfully at this point there's a lot of very skilled trainers who have kind of made the mistakes so we can, enjoy the fruits of their labor and not make as many as mistakes and also have like a ton of progress.
Yeah.
So, kind of branching off of that, can you talk about kind of how some of the mentors you had early on allowed you to kind of step in and have a decent amount of success right away?
Yeah. Well, so let's see, timeline wise in like 2019. So it was later on in the year after you and I had met and I had started my business um, and that was all like working out really well. But then I saw the internship for Michael Ellis pop up and I was like, oh my God, like that would be incredible. What a great way to learn. Really like immerse yourself in it. And so I actually did that at the end of 2019. I was an intern there. And again, just like different trainers, different approaches, Michael is really well known in the dog world. And so it was like a very awesome like learning experience in general, just overall. And then that's actually where I heard Ivan's name first was there. And it was just because like Michael would bring him up like conversationally and then I heard other people like, oh, Ivan, Ivan, Ivan. I was like, who's Ivan? Like, Ivan, what? They're like, I don't know how to say his last name. Like, this was pre TWC. And so Ivan, he had videos, but he wasn't like accessible. Like Michael had his school for years and years. And so that's when I was like, okay, like, I need to look him up. But I was in California. So Michael Ellis, it was like, you're right there. Whereas Ivan, you know, Florida, not kind of as far as I can get in the US. But it was then like I kind of, looked him up, but didn't get any videos. And then it wasn't until like, well, then COVID happened. And then 2021, I went to a J Jack workshop and it was like a play-based, kind of overview, a little weekend workshop, and just loved Jay in general. And really like it was a very different approach than what I had seen at the Search Dog Foundation. Very different even at Michael Ellis. Like everyone has their different flavors. And then Jay, I was like, oh, this just looks fun. Like it just seems like this different kind of interaction. And in talking with Jay, he was like, if you like what I do at all on any level, even just a little bit, like this is just a taste of Ivan's approach. Like you need to go learn directly from Ivan. And he was the one who said that to me. And that's when I left that workshop. I got the Cornerstone collection from Ivan. So if anyone doesn't know where to start, like Cornerstone collection is like such an awesome starting point for anyone doing anything with dogs. And like, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes into the video, I turned it, I like paused it. I told my husband, I was like, no, I need to do the course. Like the value that I've gotten in like the first 20 minutes here, I'm like, I can't believe that the course is going to stay this price for that long. And that's when I emailed you. Like, I have to do this. And it's because like you said with mentors, like they all have their different approaches, but like the more that I learned about like, okay, this makes sense. Ooh, that like I started to get a little bit of like a compass of what made sense to me, what resonated with me, and who to follow. And so by the time I got to Jay, and then he recommended Ivan, and then just diving a little bit into the videos, I was like, I know that going to the best of the best, whoever you consider that is going to save you so much time. And with what we do, it's like it's going to save so many dogs also, just like your approach. I've learned from my own mistakes also. But so going straight to Ivan, I was like, I mean, the cost was like half of what Michael Ellis's program was at the time. And so I was like, I have to dive in and do it. And that's when I signed up 2021.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that's like for anyone who is like on the younger side or on the early end of deciding whether you want to be a dog trainer or not and who to learn from and how to learn and whatever, odds are you're not going to find the best person day one. But the good thing is if you continue on a path of like wanting to learn from the best, you will eventually find the best person to learn from.
Mhm.
And that's something that I actually learned, which was actually very interesting for me because I came from DJing where like I started DJing when I was, I don't know, 12 years old or 11 years old or something. And was like, oh, well, I like this person and I like that person and I like this person. And then once I was like old enough to actually get into a nightclub or at least fake getting into a nightclub, I found someone that I like really like I thought they were really good. And then I became friends with them and it was like he lived in New York City and I lived in Phoenix, Arizona. So it wasn't like we were best friends by any means, but I took a weekend trip to New York City and applied for a job at a record store, like kind of on a whim to see what would happen. And I asked him to give me a recommendation because he used to work there. And he was kind of known as like the ultimate hater and he didn't like anybody. But he wrote me a recommendation and they were like, we don't know why he wrote you a recommendation, but because he wrote you one and he doesn't like anybody, we're
That's
going to
something.
give you a job here. So that's how I ended up moving to New York City. And then I just followed him around forever and was just like, I'll just follow you and watch what you do and learn from you. And he was one of the top guys in the United States at the time. He was traveling all over. So I kind of understood the process of like how to identify like a top performer or a top person in an industry and then learn from them
Yeah.
and how to approach that too because a lot of times like especially with someone like Ivan or someone like Michael Ellis or somebody like whoever that's at that level, people think like, oh, well, all I can't afford it right now, so I'll work for them for free. Or
Yeah.
I'll tell them that I'll work for them for free. But a lot of times, these types of situations, like you working for free for somebody who knows everything or very much so everything compared to you, is actually more of a hindrance than help because they would have to spend so much time teaching you
Mhm.
that they would actually not be able to continue the work that they're doing. So
Yeah.
finding a way to create value, like I was like, oh, I'll come with you, I'll like handle your get your drinks or I'll get your this or I'll get like I literally was just like I'll do anything. And even my job with Ivan, like I didn't like meet Ivan and was like, hey, can I work for you? I met him at a workshop. And at the time, like you said, Ivan was inaccessible. Like
Yeah.
he never did workshops in the United States. He almost exclusively traveled internationally for workshops at the time. And I was like, the first workshop he does in the United States, I'm going to go to. And that was at Dogs Playing for Life. And I went and, like, literally in passing, just because I had watched Possession Games. And in Possession Games at the time, he made this like comment. It wasn't even like a part of the video. It was just like one of those like Ivan things he says on the side that you're just like, wait a second, stop right there.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not going to talk about the out video in this video because that's the whole subject on its own. That'll have its own video. And then he just keeps going on Possession Games. But you're like, wait a second,
Wait, I need that.
where's
Yeah.
the out video?
Yeah.
And like at that time, like Possession Games came out, I don't even know, like 2014 or 2015 or something like that. And this was like 2018. So it had been like years and he never came out with it yet. And so I purely was like, hey, I went to film school. If you need help with video stuff, I'll help you. I didn't ask for a job. I didn't ask for him to pay me. I was like, I just want you to get it done
Yeah.
so
Fully
I
because
can learn
I
it.
need it. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Great.
through that, I was able to actually eventually get a job here. And then through getting a job here, I was eventually given more and more tasks to the point where now I'm, doing the certification program and doing all this stuff and, the many things that I do here. But I think that that's a very important thing to talk about is the value of mentors and approaching them and how to handle being a mentee so you can get value out of it. And something you said that I want to kind of have you expand on was when you said that like by having a mentor you kind of shortcut or you're able to avoid a lot of the mistakes by learning from them. So can you kind of expand a little bit on that?
Yeah. I mean, every like I was thinking about this yesterday. Like you could go to you know, I don't know, I'm probably gonna get some flack for this, but like, yes, you can go get like a community college education. You can go to like, different schools, but like if you want to, first off, like jumpstart your progress, like you go to the best. And the other part with that is that like the clients that you end up getting from that are very, very different. But if you have a mentor who could save you time, and like you said, like the mistakes that they've already made, the things that they've already learned, like you are going to, like you just, I look at my career before TWC and and even the trajectory of where that would have gone. And it has like completely, completely changed, like post TWC. And in it, like I don't even say, I mean, post the initial time I took the course, but the ongoing education that I've gotten since then too, and the deeper and deeper that I've been able to go is like it has made such an impact in my business. Like I just in every single way, like every single case that I handle. And so with choosing the right mentor, though, it's like I said, the ongoing education part. It wasn't like other schools that I've seen where you go through, you get a certificate, and then you are put into maybe an alumni Facebook group that no one really like interacts in. Like TWC, we do have our Facebook group that we all stay connected in, but like there's so much support afterwards that like the value of going that route too is like, I mean, I get help with cases that I just want like a different perspective on, or like, you know, for anyone who doesn't know, these are like community calls that we have every month with every certified trainer who's passed certification. And so we can bring our cases to the table and just ask for different insights, different approaches. And that has so much value. And so I didn't see any other mentor that offered something like that either. It was like, here's the price, here's the program, and then you complete the program, you're done kind of thing. And so, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a little bit of a tangent, but I mean, just choosing the right person in general, I mean, don't take that lightly. Like, it really has a huge impact. Oh, you're muted, Eric.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that a lot of people they they're so eager to get started that they're just like any certification will do. Like I'll go get like a PetSmart thing, or I'll do this, or I'll go to this guy because he's like a little bit cheaper. We have actually like an interview that we kind of run on reels and stuff like that, of one of our trainers from the first original class that says something to the tune of like, having done this, like you can actually save a lot of time and heartache and money by coming here first,
Mhm.
because you save all that going through the wrong methods, or the wrong structure, or even the wrong community. Like you might not fit in with the community. And thankfully, I like you were talking about the community calls. I think that that's something that like I think a lot of people, when they're approaching or thinking about doing the course, they think about what they're going to learn from the course.
Mhm.
And that's important. And of course, it's going to be valuable. But I think that the true value of what TWC is really comes to life once you've completed it and you become a member of like the TWC certification community, because that's when like you really start to get your new knowledge amplified by talking to other like-minded trainers with real cases, real life, and you continue to learn that way. Like you said, the day that you finish the course, that's like day one of you now actually. It's like it's like this is such like a niche example, but I can't think of anything else at the
Do
moment.
it. Go
But
for
it's
it.
like I like Olympic weightlifting.
Okay.
It's like, okay, when you first start Olympic weightlifting, you have to start with like a PVC pipe.
Mm.
You can't start with weights, you can't start with barbells, you can't, because you have to just learn the mechanics and you have to be able to do them right. So
Yeah.
it's like when you finish the course, that's like your PVC pipe.
Yeah.
And when you finish, it's like you think like, oh, I learned so much, but you're like, okay, now you can actually put some weights on a barbell.
Right.
Like now you can actually start training and doing the things,
Yeah.
like and in a good way. Like I don't mean it in like a you have to stop everything you're doing and do it different. But I just think that like that's like day one where things like really start to open up for you because there are like many eye-opening moments of the course itself, but when you truly start to get that, like, oh man, like I'm in like waters that I could have never imagined I'd be in.
Yeah.
That's like comes right after you finish, and you're like, oh man, these calls are crazy
Yeah.
valuable.
Yes. Yeah, totally. And I want to touch on that too, because that's something that like people will ask me, like, well, will I learn how to X, Y, and Z? How will I learn how to get a dog to do this or how to, like very specific things that it's like, are we going to learn how to do this? And it's hard to describe, but it's like if in taking the course, you'll have the foundation to apply these methods to anything, like literally anything. Like I want to get more into back into the detection world now because my approach would be totally different. Like my understanding is completely different than and I see, the kind of mainstream ways that people train a lot of different like types of dog stuff, whether it is just basic obedience or it is like, detection or sport, whatever. But like it really it will allow you to apply it to whatever you want to do. And so like when I approach an issue now, like before I would have been looking for a formula and that's what I got in other courses. It's like, oh, to do this, step 1, step 2, step 3. And literally like this is your cookie cutter formula, right? And now it's like that just gets so blown out of the water that like it's just a completely different approach. But that's what I love also about the community is that like we have trainers who have very different backgrounds, different specialties, different flavors and approaches on how we would all, approach a problem, which is really cool to all come together, whether it's the community calls or, the annual summit. But it's like they're such a resource for me. Like I come to those calls, like I want to pick your guys' brain. I need help and we have a really active community that's only growing. I can't believe how many people are certified now. That was so cool to hear you say that. Um, but yeah, it's just like no matter what you're doing with dogs, like this is where you start.
Yeah, and like that's another thing that's like common misconception is people thinking they're gonna get like this step one, step two, step three, but like when you really understand the concepts that are discussed in the course, you really get to understand that like you don't need steps anymore.
Yeah,
You actually transcend steps because you now are like, I understand how this creature in front of me learns, and
yeah,
I understand how I need to change what I'm doing to communicate better.
yeah,
And on top of that, you're not in this like sphere of like, here's some food, do the thing. Here's some this, here's do the thing. If you don't do the thing, here's some leash pop. Like
yeah,
you are in this like we are having fun. And in the
yeah,
process of having fun together, you're going to learn, we're going to learn, and we're going to do things.
yeah,
And one of the things that a lot of trainers have said to me after completing the course is that like by doing the program and learning the TWC methods, they almost were able to enjoy dog training. Like you almost give yourself permission to have fun.
yeah,
And I think that a lot of things that get lost when you become this like food luring transacting for rewards, transacting for food type trainer, you get lost in the steps.
Mhm.
And you're like, well, if it's not in step one, step two, or step three, we're not doing it.
Right. Where do we
Whereas
go?
like in the way that you learn through the TWC concepts, you really are just having a good time.
Yeah.
And it really gives you permission to like, even if your dog does something wrong, just sit down and be like, that's okay. Let's just regroup and put it back together or
Yeah.
find a different method. And if you can't find a different method, here's my community that I can go ask questions to.
Exactly.
But can
Yeah.
you talk a little bit about kind of how that change of mentality of how TWC approaches things kind of helps you enjoy the process instead of thinking so much about steps and goals and blah blah blah.
Yeah, well, I actually like I see this really often because I'm part of other like dog training groups, on Facebook or whatever. Um, and like pretty frequently in one group, like people will post about how burnt out they are, how business is bad, how frustrated they are, how like all this. And I'm like, I just like I feel for you because like I saw a lot more of that pre-TWC, like people that were just like burnt out. And like I just don't I have not felt that. Like if anything, I'm like even more excited now than I was before, like before I started TWC and like in the beginning of working with dogs, right? But yeah, if you get stuck in like these steps and like formulas and like, oh, this should work. Why is this not working? You set yourself up for frustration with that also, which when you're working with a dog, like you're not allowed to go there. Like that's just, you got to take a pause, like if you're going to get frustrated. And instead, it's like this curiosity, right? Like I love listening to how Ivan talks about any concept, like when he's teaching us and like he's fascinated by what he's teaching. And like my mindset has totally shifted where like my approach now and like the first thought that I have is like, oh, that's interesting. Huh. Like a curious mind versus, you're not fitting into my formula. Why isn't this working? And it's a totally different relationship with the dogs and the dogs feel it. But like you said, it was like getting permission. Like when Ivan initially said that, like I don't remember if it was the video or in the course or whatever, but like his relationship that he presents like with his dogs and that he shows you how it can be. It was like this like relief for me of like this just makes sense. Like it resonated so much as though like I always knew that, but it was like getting permission. Like, this is how I can interact with my dog. It doesn't have to be, you do this, now I pay you. You know, even just the language that is so mainstream right now in dog training, pay your dog, mark this, like all of that. It's like, it just shows like a totally different relationship with dogs. And it's really interesting because now when I have clients who, because I have a wide range of clients, some people come with zero pet dog training experience. They just like, this is the first dog they've ever had that has a problem. And then all the way to people who are really curious about dog training and they've looked up videos online and they've done some stuff. And even just like teaching them that like, we need to change your language because when you say this, when you say mark the behavior, your focus is on the wrong thing. When you say, pay, I need to pay the dog, that's very, very different. Like, this is why we need to change our language because it's going to change everything else. And they'll end up seeing that. And like, that's just the coolest thing is teaching the person in front of me how to interact and enjoy their life more. And like, I just have awesome clients because of that. And that makes a big difference too, though, right? Like you get burnt out in this industry if you have those clients who are like, well, it's just a very different caliber, right? And so I love what I do. And that's a huge part of it also. It's not just like the fascinating dog in front of me that I'm working with one-on-one if I'm like in a board and train, but also the session with the client and passing that on to them and changing their relationship together.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think that that's another big thing that isn't necessarily discussed as much, but is actually a huge benefit, especially for the professional trainers. Um, I mean, the cool thing about you is you've been here. I mean, you were in one of the first five classes, something like that. Like I don't remember exactly which one, but it was one of the first 3 to 5 classes and you were in there. So you've been here long enough to see the growth of everything. And one of the biggest things that has grown a ton, number one, is the TWC certified trainer community, but number two, the power and the strength of the TWC trainer directory
Oh my
and
God.
being able to be on that directory. It changes the way that you get clients approaching you because a lot of times, and I like having been someone who had a dog training business prior to working here, I think that something that people can get burnt out on, um something that people can get burnt out on is just getting that same client that's like, hey, I just want my dog to stay out of the way. I just want my dog to like not bother me. I just want my dog to not chew on this. I don't want my dog to not get on the couch. Whereas like when you get a person who understands what TWC is and has done their research, number one, you get somebody motivated because they're doing research already. And then number two, you get somebody who's like, I want my dog to do stuff with me. And
Mhm.
you get these people that are like eager to learn, eager to do. You get just a higher caliber of client just built in because you're a TWC trainer. Real quick, I know that I see people here that are submitting questions. We are going to have a Q&A section of the call. It's just going to be towards the end. We're just kind of, having a discussion real quick about Allie's kind of journey as a dog trainer for anybody who came in late. But yeah, like I think that's like a very important thing that you kind of said is like it even changes your business because you just get this different type of client that comes in the door.
Yeah, no, and completely. That was also something I wanted to mention is like the number of clients that I get because I have on my intake form, how did you hear about us? And it is just a completely different, like our starting point with those clients. I mean, it's just already more fun. We already have like more of like a common understanding of what our goals are and everything. But it has totally changed like my day to day because like you said, those are the people who are coming in very motivated. Their relationship with their dog is normally either really awesome or they want to get it there. And it's very, very different. And now I mean, I'm at the point I don't have to take those clients that are like, you know, I mean, I've had some interesting things written on my intake form that I'm like, yeah, maybe I'm just not the right trainer for you, and that's okay. But getting to be picky about your clients, uh, I can't even tell you how quickly I made back the tuition. Like it was just a no-brainer investment. So for the people who are worried about, it's a lump sum of money, like it really if you invest that, like it completely, I mean, if you look at the numbers, it's insane, like how much and how quickly I made that back in that investment.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things too that like it's hard, especially if you're just starting out or if you're brand new to invest so much, but like you have to understand investment versus cost
Mhm.
because cost like a cheeseburger costs me a certain amount of money, but like getting information from like a registered dietitian and like a personal trainer is an investment
Mhm.
because it's something that like is going to create value. It's going to bring more to your life.
Yeah.
So I think that that's something that like with TWC, it's very important to understand. Like if you're either talking yourself out of it because of the cost or trying to talk yourself into the cost, you should know that like we've had, like I said, over 450 people. Not once, like not one single time ever in 5 years have I gotten an email when the course was completed from any single one person that said, this wasn't worth my time. I want my money back.
Yeah.
And this is like whether they passed or failed or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I've not once ever, and I like sometimes have to tell like Ivan because I'm like, this isn't normal. Like businesses get people that are upset sometimes,
Yeah.
but like we do not get emails from people, especially people who sign up for the course that are like, oh, this wasn't worth my time.
Yeah.
Like everyone learns something, and the amount of value that you're going to get, like I think even, I mean, we did a survey a while ago from our trainers that was like what value would you place on it? And like
Oh,
trainers didn't even know how to answer it.
I
Didn't
know.
even know. They were like, I can't even put a number on it. Like we just have to like make something up because they were like, I don't even know how to quantify the amount of it, like value that I've gotten from it. So, I mean, again, I'm gonna talk about how to enroll and how to do all this stuff in the course, but I just want to like kind of also talk about the idea that like if you for some reason think that the cost is daunting, like the amount of value that you're going to get back from it, you will look back on that investment and be like, I don't even know why I waited, because you're going to get it back and like 10 times that,
Yes.
because it's just so valuable.
And it's the difference between like you're not paying for a certification piece of paper, right? It's not like now I can have letters after my name and check this box that I did it. It's like you are paying for the education. And the thing is with TWC is like I've already kind of said, it just keeps coming. Like it's not just the time that you're in the course, it's then you go back. I mean, I've watched these modules so many times, but then you guys revise and you add. Like we have so much content that we still have access to. And that was one of my questions when I originally emailed you. Like, well, do we still have access? If things change, do we get the new information? Like Ivan is so generous in that way with like all of the information that keeps coming. As he learns something new and is like, this would be valuable, like it's passed right along to us. And then we have the calls about it, the discussions. Um, yeah, it's just it's very different than like, trying to get the cheapest piece of paper certificate. You're getting the education that will help you with whatever you do after that.
Yeah, totally. I think again, I mean, it's sometimes like the funny thing with like me having, a marketing role in the business sometimes is is like a comical experience with Ivan, because he is so generous. And he just like, I found out a new thing, I've got to tell everyone. Where like if you were like purely a marketing brain, you could be like, no, 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 we sell another thing. We sell a
Right.
whole lot and may just make more money, and we make because we just, but
Yeah.
no, Ivan's like, no, we're just putting it in the course and we're just giving it to the people.
Yeah.
So like, and he even does this as much as he can with like his YouTube stuff. It's like he's been doing like a series of YouTubes on just like teaching the hold with a dog that he has on the property right now. Like he just has so much like knowledge and information. He just can't help but just like provide it. And that's the cool thing. Like you said, it's like even Ivan, one of the first things he says in the course is that like this information can change and most likely will change. He kind of talks about this Einstein quote where like or a scenario with Einstein where somebody was in his class and they took an exam at the end of the year, and then they next year they were in a different class, same teacher, and then they got the same test. And the student comes up to the teacher and he's like, or to Einstein, and he's like, hey, this is the same test. I think you gave us the wrong test. And he's like, no, no, no. Like the answers have changed. And it's
Yeah.
like Ivan is very much so in that, where it's just like, yeah, like we can continue to do the same thing and all of a sudden the answers change.
Yeah.
And he's always reading stuff. I mean, you guys see him on social media. He's always reading studies. He stays at the like top
Mhm.
of the industry with learning himself. And that's the cool thing, because I think a lot of people could try to replicate the experience of these calls and the way that we structure things in continuing to give these monthly Zoom calls and monthly information and additional information. And it can become tedious for some people, and it
Yeah.
can become like, oh, I have to do a new thing, I have to come up with something, or I have to do a Zoom call today. Like, but no, like Ivan is like, I mean, you can tell that like when he gets on a Zoom call, like he is all in for
Yeah.
any issue or problem that anybody has, to the point where like sometimes he's like, oh, we need to have another Zoom call because I can't stop thinking about this thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's super cool for me to, and I think, I mean, I'm sure it's cool for everybody else to see how like valuable he finds the interact, because I think that like that was something for Ivan. I think that like like around 2016, 17, 18, when like you said, he was very like much of a like recluse. Like he was like the guy everybody knew was the guy, but nobody knew anything about that guy.
Yeah.
And I think that was, you know, by design in certain situations, but like also at the same time, I think that like for Ivan, it was kind of like lonely because he didn't have people to discuss with. And now
Yeah.
he has this like community of, you know, hundreds of people that he can have the conversations he wants to have.
Right. Well, and that's the
And
thing is dog training can be really lonely. Like if you're not like part of a team or like a lot of us train on our own. And so to have that like community and now everyone has like that same foundation and we can talk theory and we can go, oh, this approach, oh, I didn't think about that. Like, and we can collaborate really openly. Like it's no one is thinking about like competition between anyone or within the community. It's like we're all there to learn more and help each other and go, did that work for you? Like, oh, interesting, what about this? Like it's really fun.
yeah, 100%. And I think that that's like just one of the like additional benefits is like there is this like TWC calls and there's the Zoom calls and there's the Facebook group. But I think the coolest thing is like people become friends outside of all that. It's
Yeah.
not like we only talk on the Facebook page or we only talk here, we only talk there. It's like some of my best friends now are people that I met through the course.
Mhm.
And I think that that resonates across the board for a lot of people. Is like they have this like new group of people that become like, you know, one of their biggest like best friends just because they met through this program. And I think that, that's a testament not just for like just generally for being able to facilitate that, but I think it's cool that like the community kind of manages itself where
Yeah.
like we don't have these like strange, you know, rogue cliques of people that are off to the
Right.
side causing drama and this and like we just have like a cool experience. So like
Yeah.
just to kind of talk about that, like can you just talk about kind of the experience of those annual retreats that we have for the certified trainers?
Yes. No, they're just like, I mean, because I went to the first one, which was, what was that, like 2020? It was 2021, huh? Um, yeah, and so they're just like such an opportunity to come together. It's like camp. Like you see familiar faces, like, you get to, I mean, often Ivan uses that as an opportunity to like, bring out new curriculum and like, I want to run these new things by you or like the study that he did. Like we have these like big discussions all together, which is like, it's so cool to have the Zoom calls, but to do it in person and to collaborate like that is awesome. One of my favorite ones was right before the pet dog workshop, where we all had like a powwow basically about what was going to happen and like brainstormed and looked at the case studies together and like did all of that. And then most of us like hung out through the pet dog workshop, which was so fun. But it's like a mix of, there was the year that Ivan had all the really young or a couple of really young puppies. And so a couple people got to work with them and we like came up with training plans and so it's hands-on, it's theory, it's discussion, it's end of the night like games and really really fun. And it's just like at the end of the weekend, like it's like saying goodbye after camp. And the years go by fast and that's I'm already looking forward to December. But it's a highlight. Like it's something that I think everyone is like marking on their calendar for next year because they're that awesome.
Yeah, and I think one of the one of the things that's interesting, it's like I couldn't imagine like like there's sometimes where like I don't want to say stuff because I like I know people are gonna get upset by it, but like I hear about these things like Clicker Expo or like I like these things where like people go to learn like steps and like the
Oh,
certain and it's just like I could not imagine spending a weekend learning about like how to use a clicker.
you mean like a clicker
Yeah.
to learn? Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, like I couldn't
I feel
imagine
like I could
spending a whole weekend doing that.
Yeah.
And I think that what's cool about the annual summit, it's like you said, it's like a mix of all things, but it's also like you're just spending time having fun with dogs and playing with dogs. And
Yeah.
in the process of playing with dogs, you're learning about how to teach a certain thing or how to teach this or how to teach that and how to approach certain problems and how to use play to change a whole dog's life basically
Yeah.
like and seeing the transformation happen because I think like I can't remember whether it was a summit or one of the trainer weekends, but I know that we've had like some of the shelter dogs here, and you like see them like light up immediately, like
Yeah.
when they realize that this idea of play is open for them. Like it's just a very cool experience because you're not spending this time, like you're not going and like I think another thing that I find very annoying that I like hate from like a long time ago is this idea of like going to like things to network.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like yes, you are going to come here and you're going to make friends, but like no one's coming here to be like network. Like no
Right.
one's coming here to like, oh, you're this type of trainer, I'm that type of trainer, like we're going to refer to each other. Like that's not how it
Right.
like yes, we do that, but that's just not the type of experience it is. We are
No.
truly having a good time training dogs.
Like it happens organically. It's like because I was going to touch on that. It's like your resources grow with the more like people come into the community. It's like I have people that are like, "Hey, do you know anyone who specializes in this or in this area or whatever?" And it's like, "Oh my God, yeah, let me hook you up with this person." And like the network just happens organically. It's not like a, we have our little, name tag meet and greet like kind of thing. It's just fun. And did you were you wanting me to touch on the annual summit or the trainer weekend? Because I definitely just
The
went
annual
annual.
summit more so. I
Okay.
mean, the trainer weekends we can kind of discuss if people have questions.
Yeah.
But I did want to just kind of just touch on what the experience of just being a part of the community was like and all that stuff. Um, but we can talk about the trainer weekends kind of a little bit towards the end during the Q&A part. Um, but just to kind of wrap things up about like kind of you as a trainer, can you just talk about how big of a change TWC has made for you as a trainer post TWC becoming a certified trainer and just how that's really just turned your business, your life into to something you couldn't have imagined.
Yeah, I mean, taking the course, when I look at what the trajectory of like my business and my career prior to that was just going very mainstream. This is what's available. It's transactional. It's, these are the methods that are just widely accepted and used. And it's not to say that people aren't successful to a degree and compete at high levels, like using these methods. Like, it's just one route. But like post TWC, and when I say post, obviously still very, very, very much in it and deeper now than when I started. It's completely changed how I interact with dogs, my own dogs, how I approach every single client and every single case that I have. The brainstorming like that happens in my mind now that just wasn't even like a part of my thought process before. Before it was, what are the steps? Okay, here we go. Now it's like this constant flow of, what is going to work best for this dog. And then it's a feedback loop. It's implementing, okay, let's go with this approach. And then going, okay, now let's step back and see. And then it's a continuation. It's like a dance. And that's what keeps it interesting and really fun for me. And then, like I said about clients, like the caliber of clientele, the just the number of clients, also people that seek me out because I'm TWC, people that travel to me now, it's like my reach has expanded. So that, it's very cool because it's just the type of clients that I get to work with, the type of cases that I get to be picky about taking. And then with that comes the financial shift, which is just like when I look back again, like at the investment, it was such a small investment compared to everything that I got just from taking the course and just the theory. Even if it had stopped there, it would have been an insane deal. But the fact that it keeps going deeper and deeper, and like I said, when I rewatch the modules or, Cornerstone Collection or a workshop or go to a workshop, like you would think like, okay, at this point, like I know everything Ivan has to say. No, like I come home with a full notebook full of notes still, and like I'm even more excited to get back to go home and like get back into it. So on every level, like I see where I would have gone, and I see the people that I originally started with and their trajectory. And that's kind of what I compare it to. Like it's just a completely different mindset, and I see more burnout. I see more limitations. I see different types of clients. And everyone has a different path. I'm comparing mine to, someone who just completely different approach than me, but having taken TWC, like it has just changed every single part of my career. And it was the best investment ever that I have made.
Awesome. Awesome. Um, yeah, I mean, I can't agree. I can't agree more. I mean, I think for many people, it's hard to even fathom what would have happened had you not been involved. And especially for me, I mean, this is like an all-encompassing thing. Like I wake up pretty much every day trying to figure out how to grow and make this thing better and bigger. So I
Yeah.
think it's just very cool to I mean, it's actually very interesting that you have a group of people that you kind of were around before and then after, because you kind of have like a barometer to actually see how things could have gone a different way, which is very, very cool.
Yeah.
But for those people kind of interested, let me jump into a little bit more information about the program. And then I do see we have a few questions here. We are going to answer those. If you do have questions either now or during the presentation here, you can go ahead and click on the Q&A tab that you'll see at the bottom of your Zoom window, and we'll try to answer as many questions as possible before the class is over, or the class, the call is over. All right, so what you guys are going to learn today. Why now is the perfect time to enroll in the TWC certification program? What makes training without conflict superior to other programs? What you will learn in the TWC certification program, the difference between practitioner and professional programs, the benefits of being in the training without conflict community, and how to enroll in the training without conflict certification program. So, why certification? Dog training is a highly competitive industry. Americans spend over $50 billion a year on their pets. 33% of the world's population has a dog as a pet. 44% of American households own a dog as a pet. 1.6 million dogs are adopted each year in the US, and most of those dogs, if not all, need training. So, the dog training industry has proven to be recession proof. This is a picture kind of just sharks circling in the waters. It's kind of meant to show that because it's such a highly competitive industry, there are a lot of people circling around young or uneducated dog trainers trying to prey on your inexperience by pretending to teach you something that's not necessarily the top thing, but just a little bit more than you know. And a lot of times people can get dragged into circles and lose a lot of money by getting dragged in by some of these people. So TWC is here to provide you with high level information that is proven across the board. And I'm going to get a little bit more into how that's proven a little bit later. Like I said, dog training is a highly competitive industry. There are many trainers. I'm sure you guys in your area, there are tons of dog trainers, and I'm sure that's going to grow even more as we move into the future. Everybody's looking for a way to work from home or make money from home or even make extra money outside of their job. So If you look on the left here, you see a red ocean industry. That's blood in the water. There's very few fish. That's mean, the fish are kind of meant to be clients. There's not very many clients, but there's a ton of hooks. And when there's a ton of hooks, that means that not everybody's going to catch a fish. So the water has been just kind of made bloody by all the people catching all the fish. But when you have information that is not out there, that is above what everyone else has, you can create your own blue ocean industry where you become the single hook in the water with a sea or ocean full of fish, and that people will just keep coming. People around the world are seeking expert help. Training without conflict is the cheat code to becoming an expert. So again, what I was going to get into as to how TWC has been proven. Ivan has unparalleled knowledge in the field of dog training. He's a 2-time IGP world champion. He is a 15-time IGP national champion. He has over 40 years of experience in training dogs, over 40 years of breeding Belgian Malinois. He's the former guide dog trainer at Guide Dogs for the Blind in San Rafael, California. And he's also the former training director at the San Francisco ASPCA, which is the first no-kill shelter in the United States. So he's had just tons of experience across many different types of dog training. Training without conflict is not another tool in your toolbox. Training without conflict is the only dog training methodology that's founded on the proven principles of behavioral psychology. Training without conflict is a radically different approach to training dogs. Here's a few photos of some of the training that we just have done either at workshops or just around the property. If you watch a TWC trainer train a dog, or if you watch Ivan or Natalia or some of the trainers who come here for workshops, you see them tap into a side of their relationship with their dog that is not commonly seen around dog training, especially when you're dealing with the types of trainers who are simply transacting for rewards or giving punishments for noncompliance. It's just not something that happens in that world. But in TWC, these types of pictures become commonplace where people are enjoying their dogs, they're loving on their dogs are happy, people are smiling. It's a good time all around. Like it's just a very different type and experience of training. So why TWC certification? You owe it to your dog. By using play, training without conflict trainers are able to tap into your dog's genetic gifts to create results by controlling and guiding their natural abilities. What's another reason? You owe it to your clients. Your clients expect high-level, lasting results that they can understand. Another reason, you'll crush the competition. The dog trainer that can achieve the best and most lasting results while maintaining the motivation and happiness of a dog and communicate how those results were achieved wins. Every time you will be that blue ocean trainer, have that blue ocean industry in your area because you'll be able to communicate not only with dogs, but with clients how to achieve amazing results. Lastly, you owe it to yourself. Like we talked about during the call with Allie, there's a lot of people who experience burnout. They get tired. They don't know where to go. They feel like they don't have answers. They get frustrated. With TWC, you always are going to have somebody that you can look to for answers, to help you, to guide you, and most importantly, to let you know that it's okay to just have fun with your dog. Just to kind of expand on that, here's a couple of testimonials from some of the trainers who have taken the course in the past. Amir said, I made my way through module 10. I spent most of the time on the 2 lessons on progression. Wow, just wow, Ivan. These 2 lessons were the most intense and most important lessons from any live seminar or any pre-recorded dog training lesson from any dog trainer that I have ever taken. For me, these two lessons alone are well worth the price of admission to this course. I will forever be grateful for Ivan's willingness to share this knowledge with us. I'm just a dog owner. I just goof around with my dogs. But if I were a professional trainer like some of you guys, I would feel privileged to be among such a small group of trainers with this knowledge. And I would feel like I have a huge competitive advantage over other trainers thanks to Ivan, a competitive advantage that I would protect. Vivian. Hi, everyone. I'm Vivian from Singapore. I have a bachelor's in psychology and a master's in neuroscience. I've taught learning and behavior lab in a university in Texas and animal behavior and communication at a Singapore polytechnic. Although we've only done 4 modules so far, I must say that this course resonates with me tremendously. I love the strong emphasis on relationship with the dog. I've been to many courses and seminars with many trainers. However, the deep appreciation and understanding of psychology that Ivan has is incredible and unique. Ivan's ideas are at the forefront of dog training. As a former academic, I can say that science has not even caught up with many of the ideas that are discussed here. I'm thankful for the opportunity to be in this course. Chris, one of our certified trainers, he says, truth, catapult your skills to levels way beyond typical dog training. Ivan's course is like no other, and his support is incredible. This course has been the very best investment I've made in my dog training career. Get ready to have the best relationship possible with your dogs and be able to share that gift with your clients as well. Thank you, Ivan and family. Truly proud to be a part of this revolution in dog training. If you're thinking about doing this, think no more. This course is being offered at a steal of a deal and will return your investment over and over again. Darlene, Ivan is by far the best dog trainer in the world. I've taken the training and my dog training business is taking off. Everything in this video is true. Well worth the investment in yourself. And lastly, some of the proof that we have, we actually ran a internal survey with our TWC certified trainers, and over 80% of the TWC certified trainers say they have more business than they can handle. What that means is, number one, their business is thriving, and number two, that means that they can actually refer out to other TWC certified trainers, which is a great thing to have within our community. So, what is the TWC certification program? There are 2 paths to choose from. There's a professional certification program, which is for dog training professionals that have an existing dog training business. And then there's the practitioner certification, which is for dog trainers without a dog training business. That is dog owners, dog training enthusiasts, sport dog trainers, or trainers who are aspiring to be dog trainers that do not yet have a dog training business. Both levels, practitioner and professional, enjoy the exact same comprehensive science-based training systems that will forever change the way you interact with dogs. The course is exactly the same for both levels. They get access to 24/7 access to 18 mind-blowing modules where you will learn the TWC methodology through the TWC Academy. Here's a look at some of the 18 modules. I don't want to waste a ton of time reading each one of them, but you can actually go to our website and check out all the modules that we do have available in the program. What I will say is the course is extremely expansive. It's very deep. And one of the few things, or one of the things that I'm always surprised that I never get at the end of the program is people saying that they didn't get something that they were looking for. The course is really all encompassing, and it's something that people receive exactly what they're looking for, regardless of what that thing is. Both levels also enjoy access to a private Facebook group where you can discuss questions and cases with TWC students. They also enjoy access to 4 private class Q&A calls with Ivan via Zoom. These calls sometimes last more than 4 hours. Ivan, like, it's getting to the point now where even saying 4 hours is like an understatement, because these calls are lasting even longer. Like, Ivan is extremely generous with his time, and he is invested heavily in making sure that everyone who takes the course learns the material. Both levels also enjoy access to the TWC Q&A archive. So since the beginning of the program, since 2020, every single class, any Q&A that we've had, We have the recordings, and they're all available in the TWC Q&A archive. And when you think about 4 Q&As per class, 22 classes, I mean, we're talking 80 plus Q&As, each one of those being 3, 4, 5 hours. That's so much content for people to be able to learn from. And I'll get a little bit more into even more content here later in the call. Both levels also enjoy early access to TWC workshops. So whenever we announce a workshop, the first people that know about it are people who are professional or practitioner people in the TWC certification program. So they get access to those workshops first. So if we know that a workshop is going to fill up really quickly, we provide it first to those people to make sure that they get access and are able to attend. Professional trainers, and here's somebody did ask what's the difference between the two levels. So professional trainers enjoy the opportunity to attend the TWC trainer weekend to take their final exam. So you get a 3-day weekend with Ivan where you're going to watch him train dogs. You can actually train some dogs. He's going to have some lectures, additional Q&A, and then at the end of that weekend you do take your final exam. And these are not only additional information, but they're community building events. We have a dinner, and me and Allie can kind of talk a little bit more once I get through the presentation about what the trainer weekends kind of look like. TWC certified trainers enjoy the use of the training without conflict methods with their clients. So the difference, once again, once you become a TWC certified trainer, you can promote yourself as a training without conflict trainer and use those methods with clients. TWC certified trainers also enjoy promotion and listing on the TWC certified trainer directory. So we did talk about that a little bit during the call with Allie. You get listed on the Find a Trainer directory. If you've never gone onto the TWC website, go to trainingwithoutconflict.com, click on the Find a Trainer tab, and you can see all of our certified trainers there. And if you become a certified trainer, you would also be listed there. TWC certified trainers also enjoy monthly Zoom calls to discuss ongoing cases. So even after they complete the program, TWC trainers continue to have monthly Zoom calls where they can bring questions and cases to continue to discuss anything related to TWC stuff. And that's not only with members of the community, but that's also with Ivan kind of overseeing the conversation. And the cool thing that's kind of happened more recently is that Ivan is not like, he's not like tasked with being the like end all be all of every conversation. He's actually able to let trainers have that conversation and get to the answers themselves. And he doesn't actually have to be the person who's just constantly giving answers. It's a very, very cool thing that is ever evolving. TWC certified trainers also enjoy the opportunity to attend the annual TWC Certified Trainer Summit, which is the annual reunion that we have with all certified trainers at the end of the year every December. We talked a little bit about that with Allie. Really amazing experience. And I think that a lot of people who join the course, one of their big goals is to be able to attend one of these events. And this is one of our more recent additions to the program. So TWC certified trainers are able to enroll in further education programs. So people who ask about how to shadow Ivan or how to spend time within a shadow program with Ivan, where you get to spend extended periods of time learning from Ivan. That is our TWC expert trainer program. And that is a super, super intense. You get to spend a ton of time, a year working directly with Ivan. And then also along with that comes a on-site shadow program that you work with Ivan to learn even more about the TWC methodologies. So for those of you out there, we pride ourselves on our community. We've talked a lot about how that community becomes valuable. So are you guys ready to join the TWC community? Before we get to the price, I want you guys to ask yourself one question. What is your dream worth? So when we were talking with Allie and when we've had all these previous calls, we have almost every single time talked to trainers who were able to achieve different things than they envisioned in their lives because of the TWC program. They were able to achieve results that they never thought they were going to get. They were able to train dogs that they never thought they would be able to train. They were able to just have a life that they desired versus the life that they felt like they were going to get if they took a different path. So, if you believe that your clients are worth it, that your dogs are worth it, and that your dream is worth it, if you believe these things, we'd love to have you join something special. The TWC certification program for professionals is $12,000. So that's for the professionals with a dog training business. We know, like I said, we talked a lot with Allie about the investment. The investment is just that. It is an investment in your future as a dog trainer. We have, like I said, not had any single person come back and say that they didn't feel like they got their investment back tenfold after completing the course. This is something that like is very, very cool. And I want to hammer that home for anybody who's on the verge or feels like the investment is the thing that's stopping them from joining us. And for practitioners, the investment is also $10,000. So for practitioners, if you're looking to become a professional dog trainer and then eventually start your business, having this information to start out with will guaranteed return the investment over and over and over and over again. And even if you're just a dog owner who just wants to have the best information for your personal dogs, this will also return the investment 10 times over because you continue to get access to Ivan, to the Facebook groups, to the community, but you also are able to use this not only with your current dogs, but any future dogs that you may have. So you never have to rely on a different trainer or another trainer to help you with your problems because you have not only your skills, but a community that can help you with any issues that you might have. So how do you apply for the TWC certification program? You can go to trainingwithoutconflict.com/certification. You can purchase the $97 TWC certification application. You fill that application out and submit it. Ivan and the TWC team will review the application, and then I will personally contact you with the next steps once that application has been reviewed. We're currently enrolling for the August 2025 class. So, with that all being said, we can move on to the questions. So, I'll go ahead and start here. I did see kind of a question that I just want to address quickly. What is the thinking behind no payment plan? Seems very limiting for people like myself who would have access to training of this caliber, but absolutely cannot afford it. Basically, it feels like if you cannot afford this, you're clearly not good enough or devoted enough to train with us. I just don't understand. I don't have the marketing brain. So the idea of not having payment plans is absolutely not related to marketing whatsoever. We are just not built for running payment plans and chasing after people who would not necessarily follow the payment plan to a T. Early on in the process of TWC and the certification program, we did have payment plans, and because of some people that just kind of were not able to adhere to those payment plans, that created a lot more work for the staff here. We just decided to do away with those, and we always encourage people to find their own methods of financing, whether that be creating your own, little payment plan and saving money month to month and keeping it under your mattress, or getting a loan from a bank or credit card or whatever, however you want to do it. We leave that up to anyone that's looking to enroll in the course. Unfortunately, we just don't have the manpower to be able to manage payment plans for the large amount of people that we do have that take the course. It's not marketing related at all. It's not to exclude anyone at all. And we certainly don't want to make anyone feel like if they can't afford it, they're not with us. And that's actually why we provide so many different types of content. We provide a lot of free content on YouTube because we do want people who can't necessarily afford the certification program now to be able to continue to learn and expand their education. So that's a big part of why that is. But if you would like to join us and you can't necessarily afford it now, there's many different ways to go about it. Saving money month to month, getting a loan, credit cards, asking family, however you want to manage it. I know everyone has different financial situations. I'm certainly not a financial advisor, so I do not want to tell you to do any specific thing. What I will say is that knowing what I know now, whatever I needed to do to come up with that money, I would do. Like, I remember when we first did the original course, I actually had no idea what Ivan was going to teach. But after he taught what he taught, I would sell my car and walk everywhere if I needed to figure this out because I knew and know that you'll be able to buy 5 cars later on because of the things that you are going to learn. Like the short term sacrifices you might need to make to be able to join the program will be benefits later on in your life. So again, we talked a little bit about kind of how TWC has been able to provide value to my life, Allie's life, all of our trainers' lives. But again, I don't want anyone to feel like if they can't necessarily afford it today, that's something that is a marketing issue or anything like that. It just comes down to a manpower issue and the fact that we did have issues early on where people didn't necessarily adhere to those payment plans. Um, Will Ivan's methodology work for dogs with low drive too, or is it context dependent? So I will let Allie take that question. I don't necessarily know what you mean by context dependent, but we'll kind of address like if you just address the TWC methods work with low drive dogs.
Yeah, totally. So this is like what I was saying, where it's not about it's not about any specific behavior that you're going to teach or like this is the formula. It gives you all of the tools and the foundation to approach anything. So what I have loved about watching Ivan over the years too is that there were times early on that I actually realized that I was stuck in a box because there are a lot of other methods that it's like, no, you have to stay within the confines of this box. This is how we do things. And those programs don't work for dogs that don't fit in that box. But there was, I think it was the Pet Dog Workshop, actually, where some of the scenarios we were going through, Ivan was like, as we were all brainstorming how to approach it, he was like, well, what about this? Let's try this. What about that? And like, it highlighted for me how open-minded he stays. And so that's why these methods will work. Like you will have so many different approaches that you can take with any kind of dog. So I know people that, say, well, he's a sport dog guy and, yeah, sure, this will work for Malinois. But I'm a pet dog trainer. So I get all sorts of dogs. I get the very, very low drive, the very excited doodle, I get the range, right? And this helps me with every dog that comes to me, whether that's low drive or high drive. Yeah, it's really like it'll help you with everything.
Yeah, I completely agree. Sharon asks, is having prior dog training experience required or useful, or can the course be as valuable to an enthusiast who hopes to be a dog trainer? I'll let Ali kind of chime in also, but what I will say is that um, always having experience is useful, regardless of whether it's good or bad. Experience, like sometimes knowing what not to do, is just as valuable as what to do. But even if you have no experience, that can actually be a huge benefit because you don't have bad habits to get rid of. A lot of struggles that some of the trainers have who do enroll is having to unlearn some of the things that they've been doing for 5, 10, 15 years. Um, Sometimes it's like the longer a person has been training dogs a certain way, the harder it is for them to bridge the gap for changing their entire understanding of dog training. So I do want to say that that although prior experience is always valuable, um, you don't necessarily need it in order to take the course or to become a dog trainer in general. Allie, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I totally second that. It's actually really funny because, like, I got into TWC just a couple years into my dog training career. And so I had like just enough to, again, be able to like highlight things that like didn't really sit with me. Like, that doesn't really make sense. And then getting into TWC, it was like, okay, like this breath of fresh air, like this makes sense. But it's really funny because I've had quite a few clients now go from client to be very interested in the course. And a couple have actually taken the practitioner course, have taken the certification course, and a couple more that are interested. And it's funny, like talking to them after the course and like watching, we went to a workshop together and and my friend is sitting there like, why I don't even understand like why they would do that. And I'm like, I know, that's why it's so funny because me, like I was trained initially that way. Like that is mainstream. But to talk to someone who doesn't have that background and hasn't learned the mistakes or the other way of approaching things, it's like she couldn't even comprehend why we would do it that way. Like it was such a disservice to the dog, yet everyone is sitting there taking notes like, oh yeah. So it's really interesting, like Eric said, like it doesn't hinder you or benefit you necessarily. It's kind of cool to have that understanding because if you are going to be a dog trainer, you will have clients who have been training that way and have been guided maybe by other trainers in the more mainstream approaches. So it can be helpful to at least understand why someone might go with that approach. But that being said, like Eric said, like you don't have all of those things to undo and unlearn, and that can be challenging. And sometimes you see that in the course, like there are just some concepts that people are like, it's just against everything that I've like been doing or have been taught. But when you have that breakthrough, it's like, oh my God, that's where all the power comes also, where you're like, that was like finally a light bulb and it changes everything. So I think you can't go wrong either way. There's benefits to both, but it's definitely not required.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree. I just think like with anything, any experience is valuable in a certain way, even whether it's good or bad, because if you know that doing something a certain way doesn't work, that will make you more likely to not do it again. And if you know something works, then you know that that also works. But um, don't let your experience level be the determining factor of whether you should do the because it doesn't matter. It's you're going to learn and you're going to become a better trainer no matter what. There's a few people kind of asking the same question in different ways. So, have I don't have a dog training business yet, but I'm working towards that. If I take the practitioner course now, can I come back later and do the professional certification? How can I become a TWC certified trainer if I don't have a dog training business? And then one other person, I don't have a dog training business, so I can't take the professional course. So to begin with, if you do not have a dog training business, you cannot take the professional course. That being said, if you do have aspirations of eventually starting a dog training business, you can take the practitioner course and you can learn all the concepts and you can start your process of learning the things that you need to do and understand to be a TWC certified trainer. But once you start your business, and once you've, started to train a couple dogs and have a little bit of experience under your belt as a professional trainer, you can upgrade. So it's not like you have to pay for the practitioner and then the professional. You can upgrade from practitioner to professional and then complete the professional certification class. And then eventually become a TWC certified trainer. And that's highly recommended. Uh, way to go about it from my perspective, because you can spend a lot of time learning the concepts and understanding them, and then before you ever have this, because one thing that we don't really discuss during this call, but you do only have 1 year as a professional trainer to complete the certification program and complete the exam process to become a certified trainer. So when you upgrade, that clock starts from the day that you upgraded. So if you become a practitioner, you are able to just continuously learn and know this stuff. And when you're ready, when you feel like you have a competency both in the theory side and a little bit on the practical side, then you can choose to upgrade and then um, continue your process of becoming a certified trainer. And I think that's what Jill did, right? Allie?
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what she did. Well, I think she actually upgraded while she was in the middle of the course. So this is one of my clients turned friend, turned, TWC, alum now. So she, and now we work together. So that's the route that she went. And yeah, I think it's, like you said, it's good because you can have that time to like have that information sink in. And then when you're ready to approach the certification, you can do that.
Yeah, you could just upgrade at that time, and then you can just finish up your certification that way.
Mhm.
Um, what else here? Um, Answered that. Do any additional taxes apply to the price of international students? No. The pricing is just a flat rate. So um you don't have to worry about the VAT or taxes or anything like that. There's nothing as far as that goes um attached to anything. We don't do that. Um Somebody asked what's the actual difference between levels. I think we covered that, but if anybody has a specific question on that, you guys can ask the questions. Can we see some fully trained dogs trained by the TWC graduates? So, you most definitely can. What I would advise, if that's what you're looking for, is to go to our website, trainingwithoutconflict.com, click on the find a trainer page and click on some of the trainers there, and a good amount of them have links to their Instagram page and or YouTube or any social media that they might have, and you can go ahead and check that out and you can see some of their training. There's plenty of our trainers who do different online stuff, especially on social media, so that's definitely a way to go about it. I don't have like a sizzle reel of TWC certified trainers training, but that would probably be the best way to go. And you get you can get a really wide grasp of understanding how TWC training looks from a TWC graduate if you go there. How long does it typically take to complete the course and prepare for the tests? I saw all material is released over 9 weeks. Is the trainer workshop in the United States? Okay. So, typically, yes. So what happens is you enroll in the course, and then from the start date, we release 2 modules per week. And once those modules are completed and released, then there's typically about a week break, and then you have the TWC certified trainer weekend. And um, the material is released somewhat over 9 weeks, and then the test is a week and a half to 2 weeks later. So I would say if you finished it all kind of in that one single round, to get through the written portion of the exam, it would take you somewhere between 10 and 11 weeks. And then once you pass the written exam, there is a practical exam to complete. So that can take, however much time it would take you to complete the prompts for the practical. So as far as completing the course, you do have a full year as a professional. So you have 365 days. So if your course started June 29th, then you would have until June 28th of 2026 to complete it. So you do have a full year. But, if you wanted to get it all knocked out within the first try, you definitely could get it done. I would say probably within 12 weeks is 3 months. So I don't know, probably 4.5, 5 months. I would say you could get it done if you really wanted to like speed through it. Um, but that's not necessarily what you need to do or have to do. You do have a full year. Um, you said that they're accepting applications to enroll. How do you go about that? We did discuss it during the presentation, how to apply. I will cover it again at the end of the call, but you can just go to our website, trainingwithoutconflict.com/certification, and you can purchase the application there. Sharon says, is the course online learning? So yes, the course is presented in an online format in the TWC Academy. And along with that comes those live Q&As with Ivan. So I, number one, we don't get this question all that often anymore, but we used to get the question like, why can't I just learn it in person? I think that if you guys understood the amount of information that you guys are presented with, your brain would melt if you tried to learn this in one sitting. It would be very, very difficult. Allie, if you kind of want to talk about kind of the advantage that the online learning has. Um,
Oh my God. Like if I, at any of the in-person stuff, if I could pause Ivan and go back and then have him repeat it and like write notes and everything, like I would go that route, which is exactly what I did with the modules. Like I was pausing that. Like, I mean, I can't even tell you like how many like gold mine like bits are in there. And so the advantage of doing it online is actually like you will be very, very grateful. And then even now, like going back again, and it's like you rewatch the same content, but you take different things away. So the difference between that and a live, workshop where it's like you hope you wrote enough notes down, like it's a huge, huge advantage to be able to pause it. And the thing is though, like it's not like you don't have access to Ivan during that time. Like yes, they are pre-recorded, but there are live Q&As, which you talked about a little bit too. So you're getting your questions answered also. So there is that like live portion. And if you can't make that the time for that, those are recorded, like Eric said. So even though it's not live for the modules, you still it is like a live setting with all the advantages that come with having it pre-recorded.
and even outside of the Zoom calls and all that stuff, you also have the Facebook group. So you're able to ask Ivan questions pretty much any time. Ivan's like very, very dedicated to making sure people get their questions answered. So you do truly get an experience learning directly from Ivan and not it's not like a we put Ivan's name on it and then you never see him. He definitely puts in a lot of time and a lot of effort into making sure people learn what they need to learn. Um, is it possible to take the exam remotely if students, for whatever reason, can't attend trainers weekends? So for international trainers, we do have the ability to take the exam remotely. That's primarily due to policies that we had to have due to the pandemic. So we do have that availability for international trainers to take the exam remotely. But if you live in the United States, we currently do require that you take the exam on site. Um, if you had some like very, very significant health or whatever issue, we can have a conversation and discuss it. But for the most part, anyone in the United States, um, you would have to test in person, and anyone internationally does have that opportunity to take the exam remotely if they needed to. Um, Ivan focuses on building a relationship. Do you believe his methodology also works with extremely aggressive dogs, given that many trainers use a more physical approach in some cases? Um, yeah. So I try not to get too deep in the weeds on dog training information on these calls, but I think that the proof is in the pudding when you see some of the dogs that either Ivan or some of the other trainers that work with aggressive type dogs have trained using TWC methods, um, with the added bonus that it removes the need for that physical approach. And I know what you mean by physical approach. A lot of trainers think that these extremely aggressive dogs require this like heavy handed punishment, high, like high level punishment, whatever, to discourage the dogs from acting this way. But by using the TWC methods, you're actually able to not only connect with the dog itself, but really get to the root of why the dog feels like they have to act that way. And you're able to use communication tools and science based training to make not just the dog not, because that's the thing, is so many trainers are so preoccupied with making the dog not aggressive that they don't even pay attention to how do I make this dog understand how to be normal, like how to be a dog. And I think that that's the big difference with TWC is we're not looking to end the super aggression behavior. We're actually looking for how to understand the dog and how to teach the dog that there are alternatives that they can use to communicate with people. Allie, do you have kind of anything you want to add to that?
No, I think like you said, it's hard to dive into something like a question like this. But yeah, look at the videos that Ivan posts, like the dog that he just had recently. Like I mean, you see the outcomes. And so those are things that once you go through the course, you'll have like such a much deeper understanding of like the different approaches that he would use in a situation like that. But absolutely, like there are TWC trainers that are taking these cases and using these methods. And that's what really separates TWC from mainstream stuff that's just widely used out there right now.
Yeah, I mean, if you just want to hop on the his Facebook page and check out any of the videos with Zeke, or check out the stuff with Tina on the YouTube page. I mean, those two cases were cases that people really, I mean, they people thought that Tina was like irreparable. Um, and he was able to find a way to communicate with her and really change her life, to turn her into a dog that can kind of be, productively part of a home, or just be a dog. And he didn't have to do that through the use of punishment or e-collars or anything crazy like that. So not that e-collars are crazy, just we do use e-collars. So but that's just kind of I think, to answer your question, can you use it to work with super aggressive dogs? Yes. I know most trainers, like you said, like to use a much more physical approach. And the good thing is TWC teaches you that you don't need to use that. You don't need to be this like heavy-handed dominator of dogs to be able to communicate with that type of dog. So hopefully that answers your question. Are there any requirements for dog training business to be accepted into the certification course? Yeah, basically what I would ask for is proof of existence of your business. So like whether that be like an LLC form or something similar to that, some sort of documentation. I would ask for your business website. I would ask for your Instagram, and then if needed I would ask possibly for some client testimonials, just to make sure that your business is in existence. And then last question, can you talk about the exams and passing rate? um I'm not sure what I really can talk about the exams, since it's their exams, and they cover the course. But a lot of people get very wrapped up in this idea of the passing rate. It's very difficult to um, discuss the passing rate because we do give multiple opportunities for trainers to be able to complete the program. So you do get up to three opportunities within that year's time to take the written exam. Um, and then we've not ever needed anybody to take three opportunities to do the practical exam. So I don't really know if that would be relevant. But for the most part, you do get opportunities to either fix or redo your practical exam if necessary. So I would say that as far as like passing rate overall for like trainers who utilized all of the opportunities available to take the exam, our passing rate is, you know, anywhere between 85 and 90% of trainers. Most of the time the trainers who don't complete the program are people who possibly didn't pass the exam the first time and then got, you know, frustrated and then never came back, or some type of issue like that. We very rarely have people who use all their attempts and don't pass. So I would say that the passing rate on that front, if you use all of the opportunities available to you, the passing rate is somewhere between 85 and 90%, I would say. All right, that is the last question. So I just want to thank everyone for being on the call today. Hopefully, you guys learned a little bit about TWC, learned a little bit about Allie. She is the director, the community director of the Training Without Conflict certification program. So if you guys enroll, she is going to be one of the people that you guys talk to regularly, as well as myself. So hopefully we get to chat with a lot of you guys. And I know there's also people on here that are already people who have enrolled in the past. So thank you guys for being on the call. I always think it's funny that you guys attend these calls because you guys just can't get enough of TWC. But thank you guys for being on the call. And yeah, appreciate everyone. If you guys missed any part of the call early on or anything like that, we will have the recording up and available, and we will email that to you. But for anyone, like I said, let me go ahead and just put this back up real quick. Um, for anyone who's looking to enroll in the course, we are enrolling right now for um, the August 2025 class. I think it's going to begin August 5th. For the next class, but you can go to trainingwithoutconflict.com/certification. You can purchase the $97 TWC certification application, fill out and submit the application. Ivan and the TWC team will review the application, and then I will contact you with the next steps. So once again, trainingwithoutconflict/certification. Yeah, so thank you guys for being on the call. Um, Hopefully we get to talk to you guys soon. And Charles says thank you, Eric and Allie. So you're welcome. Thank you guys again. Have a good one.